Most supplements are a waste of money, but today I'm going to show you 5 that have helped me get in the best shape of my life. We're starting with one that 99% of you won't have heard of. But before we get into it, I want to make 2 things clear. Number 1 is that to the best of my knowledge, these supplements are all completely safe and legal. And number 2 is that this video is not sponsored by anybody and I'm not being paid to promote anything. Okay, caveats and disclaimers out the way, let's lock in. I buy all of my supplements from a UK-based company called Bulk, and these are the 5 that we're going to go through today. And what I'll do for each of the supplements that we're going to talk about is tell you what it is, because that'd be pretty useful, why I take it, so the science behind it and the main benefits, what you want to look out for when you're buying these supplements, how much I take, so the dosage, and why I take that amount. And as I said, we're starting with one that I doubt many of you, if any of you, have heard of, and it's this one right here. Dominate. You probably can't read that box, but what a cool name for a supplement. So these come in a little cute box like this. Cute's probably not the right word. Sorry, Bulk. Now this supplement, these tablets, is a blend of ingredients, but the 3 main ones are something called D-aspartic acid, fenugreek, and zinc. And the biggest benefit of this supplement and all 3 of those ingredients is that they actively support healthy testosterone levels. Now this is incredibly important in all men, but particularly men over the age of 35, which is when your testosterone levels start to naturally decline by about 1% each year. Now 1% each year doesn't sound like much, but if you think about what that's going to look like in 10, 20, 30, even 40 years time, it's pretty terrifying. And testosterone is particularly important, and I'm very passionate about it. I've done a lot of videos about this on my channel, and that's because testosterone is what gives us as men our drive. The way I think about it is that when you've got high testosterone, everything just feels easier. You're not dragging yourself around. You feel good. You feel confident. You're giving off that je ne sais quoi. Probably more importantly than that though, you get more done and you actually want to do hard things. Now, the last time I got my levels tested, which was 2 years ago, I think, they were pretty high. I can't remember exactly what they are, but I've got them somewhere on my phone, so I'll dig them out and put them on the screen right now. But yeah, I am doing everything that I can to protect my testosterone levels. And Dominate, this supplement right here, definitely helps with that. It's a little bit funny because in terms of dosage, it actually says on the box to take 6 each day, but then they give it to you in a format where there's 3 levels of 5 tablets, and I have horrendous OCD, so I take 5 a day, and honestly I think that's more than enough. Oh, and the other really important thing to say about this supplement is that it's pretty much the only one I do actually cycle. So I will go through 2 packs back to back, and then I will take the equivalent time of 1 pack off. Now 1 pack is 180 capsules, which if I just quickly do the maths here, yeah, that's 36 days, so just over a month per pack. Essentially it's 5 weeks, in fact 5 weeks and 1 day, right? So I'm doing 10 weeks on, 5 weeks off. That's how I'm going to cycle it. That being said, and again, this is not medical advice, I think if you had chronically or clinically low levels of testosterone, I don't think too much damage would be done if you were to do 3 packs in a row. But if you can't get this supplement for whatever reason, or you don't want to take this particular brand, then you could obviously just buy the ingredients individually. I have looked online to see if any of Bulk's competitors, so people like MyProtein, do something that compares to this, and from what I can tell, I can't find it. But if you find it, please do let me and everyone else watching this video know in the comments, because I would genuinely love to look into it. Okay, so that is supplement number 1. Actually, I just remembered that I haven't taken my Dominate so far today. So actually, this is a good point. What I will do is, of the 5 tablets, I will take 3 in the morning, and then I will take another 2. It tends to be about an hour or 2 after I've trained, or if I'm on a rest day, I'll just take them at lunchtime. I did just take them, but I don't want YouTube to flag me for drug use, so I'm not going to show you me taking them. Number 2 is the OG of all supplementation, and that is creatine monohydrate. This is the most tested and most studied supplement, second only to caffeine, I believe, because yes, caffeine is a supplement because it is in fact a performance enhancer. Well, for some people, not for me. If I take caffeine, I just get weird. Anyway, we are not talking about caffeine today. We're talking about creatine monohydrate. And yeah, creatine is incredibly safe, very cheap, and incredibly beneficial. Not just for men, by the way, but for women as well. It's funny, some people genuinely think of creatine as like a steroid because the key benefit of it is to help you lift heavier, recover faster, and build more muscle. But it's far from a steroid. And funnily enough, we're going to talk about some of the other benefits in a minute. But before I do that, very quick science lesson. So what creatine actually does is increase your muscle stores of something called phosphocreatine. training. And that helps you regenerate something called ATP. The more ATP that you have, the more power that you have for every single rep, and overall, the better that you're going to perform in the gym. And over time, this is going to lead to more muscle stimulation, less fatigue, and faster recovery. However, what's really interesting is that more recent studies of creatine have found that it has cognitive benefits as well. You see, your brain burns a lot of energy, burns a lot of calories, especially when you're stressed, which I expect is all the time. But creatine acts like a backup battery, tapping into your brain's energy so that you can think clearer and stay sharp. Despite the common advice to take 5 grams of creatine every day, I've actually been taking 10 grams for the last year or so, pretty much ever since I found out about the cognitive benefits as well as the physiological benefits. 5 grams is absolutely fine, but according to some neuroscientists who are far smarter than me, 10 grams is much more optimal. The way I like to think about it, to be honest with you, and it's very rudimentary and this is not scientific at all, is that I'm having 5 grams for my muscles and 5 grams for my brain. Oh, and last thing to say about creatine, because I, again, haven't taken my creatine yet today, is that you don't need to load it. You don't need to cycle it. Just take it first thing every single morning. So that is creatine. Number 3 is what I start every single morning with, and that is my electrolytes. Electrolytes are essential minerals, things like magnesium, potassium, calcium, and sodium. And they are very important for hydration, for nerve function, and even for muscle contraction. And when I say muscle contraction, I don't just mean bicep curls. I mean doing anything in your day-to-day life, picking up this water bottle, blinking, absolutely anything. And when you mix electrolytes with water, you're not just drinking the water, you're giving your body the tools it needs to use that water properly. And they're particularly beneficial in the morning because during sleep, you lose a lot of water through breathing and sweating. And that fluid loss also means a drop in electrolytes, particularly sodium. And funnily enough, if you just drink water first thing in the morning, you can actually feel worse for it. But if you add electrolytes, you're going to get faster, more effective hydration. You're going to have improved energy levels. You're going to have a lot less brain fog as you move through the day, and you're even going to have fewer cravings. But what you don't want to do is just head down to the local supermarket and buy any old sports drink because most of those are just loaded with sugar, which is why I buy mine in powder form just like this. And all I do is mix it in with water, not just first thing in the morning. Actually, I will have it at lunch and in the evening. And I'll do that for a couple of reasons. Firstly, because it stops me reaching for other liquid calories, which I spoke about in my last video, which I'll link at the end of this one in case you haven't seen it, and how liquid calories can very easily throw you over your allowance each day and put you out of a deficit and into a surplus. Obviously, it's also hydrating me throughout the day. I use my brain a lot, even though I know you might think I'm just a dumb YouTuber. But I think most importantly, it's just a great cue that reminds me to drink more water. In terms of the brand itself, the only reason I buy this from bulk, well, actually, no, there are two reasons. Reason number one is that it's just easier to order all your supplements together. And reason number two, and I think the most important one when it comes to your electrolyte drink, because you are mixing it with your water and you are having it first thing, is that you want to find one that you actually enjoy the taste of. And trust me, I tried like 3 or 4 and I settled on the orange and mango electrolyte powder. I did try the My Protein one as well, and it was fine, but it was just a little bit too sweet for me. Another really good brand that I see promoted quite a lot, but I have to admit, I've never tried it myself. If they're listening and they want to throw me a free couple of sachets, then be my guest, is Element, but it's spelt Lmnt. But yeah, I've heard they're pretty good. I think they're a little bit more pricey though. So that is electrolyte powder. Number 4 is our trusty super strength omega-3s, our essential omega-3s, and they are called essential, by the way, because your body cannot naturally produce these. And just like a lot of the supplements that I've already spoken to you about today, these are multifaceted. They have a lot of benefits from one thing. You get a great bang for your buck. First and foremost, these are proven to reduce inflammation, not just in your body, but again, also in your brain. Inflammation is everywhere and you can't see it, so you don't really think about it and you probably don't worry about it. But the chances are it is hindering you. So if we can take something that doesn't cost much money and that can reduce inflammation, why not? And if we reduce inflammation, not only is it going to speed up recovery in our body, but it's also going to improve our cognitive function. So you will notice there's a running theme here. These supplements I'm not just taking for my body, I am taking just as much for my head, for my brain. This will also increase your focus and improve your memory, and it will actually even support fat metabolism and improve your triglyceride levels. Triglyceride levels. Say it right, Doug. Which, if you've ever had your bloods tested, you will know is a very important marker. 4 huge benefits, all from taking 3 little tablets each day. And as I got out taking these, let's get them down me. In fact, again, I should actually say, I was about to just chuck them all in. Ooh. I don't take them all at a time. I take 1 in the morning, 1 at lunch, and 1 in the evening. Please don't ban me for taking supplements on a video YouTube, because that would suck. So actually, this is a really important thing. We'll talk about this at the end. But when it comes to taking your supplements as well, these are just going to roll everywhere now. Keep them handy. Keep them out so that you don't forget to take them if you are spreading them out through the day. So as I said, I'll take 3 a day. I've just taken my first one there, and that's going to give me 990 milligrams of EPA and 660 milligrams of DHA. EPA and DHA are the 2 active ingredients. They are 2 acids with ridiculously long names that I'm definitely not going to pronounce, but I will put the names on the screen if you are interested. Try and say them out loud. I mean, I can't, but you might be smarter than me. You probably are smarter than me. But those 2 acids, the EPA and the DHA, are the 2 things that you want to look out for, both the dosage and the quality. So in terms of dosage, I'm taking, what's that? Just over 1,600 milligrams combined each day. I would say at an absolute minimum, you want to be aiming for 1,000 milligrams. But yeah, this is over 1,600, so win. Now, I'll be honest, there are actually better brands than bulk for your omega-3s. In fact, there are entire businesses built around this supplement. That's pretty much a sign of how important it is. So the 2 that come to my mind, there is one called Bear Biology, which is a UK-based company. And then there is another one called Thorne, which is a US-based company. But again, because they are specialized, they are going to be more expensive. So you kind of need to decide the trade-off that you want to make. But like I said, with the electrolyte powder, when it comes to a lot of these supplements, it's just easier to order them all from one place. And then last, but certainly not least, the smallest of all, but potentially the mightiest, we have vitamin D3. Sunshine in a tiny tablet. Now, funnily enough, even though this is called a vitamin, vitamin D is actually a hormone because your body has the ability to produce it, to make it by itself when your skin is exposed to direct sunlight. However, if you live in the UK or North America, good luck getting enough sunlight. Now, one thing that you want to watch out for is that there are actually 2 forms of vitamin D. You have D2 and D3. D2 is plant-based and D3 is animal-based. 0 guesses which one is better. D3 is the one, folks. And jokes aside, this supplement is awesome. In fact, I would go as far as to say that if I was president of the world, I would put it into the water supply. Because not only is it incredibly safe, and we'll talk about that in a second, but it is so important for men, for women, and even for children. How important, you ask? Well, vitamin D is involved in over 1,000 gene expressions, and low levels are linked with everything from poor testosterone, belly fat, and even depression. There's so many benefits that I cannot even remember them all off the top of my head, but the science says it boosts testosterone, it strengthens your immune function, it supports fat loss and insulin sensitivity, it helps your bone health, it improves your sleep quality, but most importantly, and this is actually the reason that I started taking it, it improves your mood, your focus, and your mental resilience. But most guys are walking around deficient and they don't even know it. Now, the biggest problem that we have with vitamin D supplementation is the dosage. And that's because most governments are way behind the science on this. For example, in the UK, the recommended daily dose is just 400 IUs. And the US, it's a little bit better at 600. But just to give you some context, I take one of these tiny, tiny pills every day. And I will show you how small it is right here, if you can even see that. And this little thing is packed with 4,000 IUs. Now you might think, oh my God, that's a lot. You don't have to take 4,000 if you want, but at an absolute baseline, I would recommend that you go up to 2,000 IUs per day. Studies have been done on people where they've taken up to 10,000 IUs per day for an extended period of time, and they were all absolutely fine. So those are the 5 supplements that I take and recommend. But you might be thinking, Doug, you've missed one. I didn't mention protein powder because even though it's great, particularly if you're in a deficit, and a lot of my clients take it, I don't think it makes my top 5. It can have a honorable mention because it is the GOAT, but if you're eating enough protein from food, you don't need it. Now, the one thing to be conscious of is where you get your protein from, because the quality really does matter. The best sources are lean meats, fish, eggs, and dairy. And the reason those are the best sources is because they all contain what we call complete proteins. Do you remember earlier when we were talking about the super strength omega-3s, and I said to you that these were essential omega-3s? Now, the word essential is key there because it means your body cannot naturally synthesize and produce them. Well, it's the same with the amino acids that make up protein. There are 9, I believe, essential amino acids that your body cannot naturally produce and that we can only get from diet. And there are certain sources of protein, basically the plant-based ones, that whilst they contain protein, they don't necessarily contain all 9 of those essential amino acids. And if you're eating protein that doesn't contain all 9 essential amino acids, you're not going to be able to metabolize the maximum amount when you eat it. Anyway, science lesson over. But some important notes before we wrap up the video. Supplements help, but they're not magic. They're called supplements for a reason because they're there to supplement a healthy lifestyle. And if you're serious about improving your health and fitness, then the best things for you are good sleep, daily movement, a healthy diet, and as much sunlight as you can get. In fact, funny story. So I moved to Spain, the south of Spain, where it is like really hot. I'm talking 300 days of sunshine every single year. Within 3 months of me being there, I had multiple people come up to me or message me online asking me if I was on steroids, which I'm not, and I've never taken anything. But that just shows you the power of the sunshine, because I didn't change anything else. I was still taking these supplements. I was still eating a relatively healthy diet. In fact, if anything, my sleep got worse because when I first moved to Spain, as you would trust me, I was partying more. I was out, I was drinking more, I was eating worse food. If anything, I was definitely sleeping less. I was just enjoying my new life. But yet somehow I managed to get bigger and stronger than I had ever been before. So now I'm back in the UK for a little bit. Whenever it is a nice day, I am making sure that I am spending as much time as I possibly can outside in the sunshine, because it really is the most powerful thing. All of that being said, if you are going to take these supplements, or any supplements for that matter, make sure that you are taking them consistently and for at least 90 days before you make any judgment, positive or negative. And it's also important to note that it's very hard to know if one thing is working in isolation, because what most people tend to do when they start taking supplements or they change their diet is that they never make changes in isolation. Most people, they won't just change one thing. They'll change 5 things. They'll change 10 things. They'll start moving more. They'll start taking supplements. They'll start eating healthier. Maybe they'll cut back on alcohol. They'll get more sunlight. And then they'll turn around and go, yeah, mate, it's just because I started taking creatine. Now, yeah, the creatine probably will help you, but it's not the be all and end all. What we've talked about just there, the sunlight, the movement, the diet, the exercise, the sleep, those things are going to make 99% of the difference. These right here are the tip of the spear. They are the 1%. You want to make it as easy as possible for you to remember to take these supplements. So what I would recommend that you do, particularly when you're just starting out taking them, leave them out somewhere visible, your kitchen, your bedroom, wherever you can leave them, and take them first thing in the morning. Yeah, listen, I space mine out through the day, but for years, maybe even like a decade, I never used to do that because I was going to and from an office 5 days a week for 10 years. So I wasn't going to start carrying my supplements around in a cute little handbag, was I? I just took them all first thing in the morning and be done with it. And if you are buying supplements, make sure that you buy them from a reputable brand. You don't want to buy cheap, because if you buy cheap, you buy twice. I remember vividly last year buying a new iPhone charging cable, going on Amazon, finding literally like the cheapest one, thinking, oh, it's just a charging cable. Who cares? I think it was like $3 or $4. But that charging cable broke within 2 weeks. So I ended up having to buy another one, and the second one, because I didn't want that one to break, ended up costing me $20. So just save yourself the hassle, save yourself the time, save yourself the money, and just buy a decent product from a decent brand first time round. Now, I was going to end the video there, but I actually just thought of something. If you can, get your blood work done before you start taking supplements, particularly if you think you might have low testosterone levels. I'm actually having another test done in a few weeks. Obviously, I will do a full video and show you all of my results. But I would say if you're a man over the age of 35, get a blood test done at least once a year. And I actually think this is going to be the future, to be honest. Personalized supplementation blends. To be honest, there are already companies out there doing this. There's one that comes to mind that's called Bionic. I believe you might have seen a guy called Mike Thurston promote it quite a lot. He's a big, like, big fitness YouTuber. I think he's actually a part owner in the company now, and they do personalized supplementation blends. They send a nurse to your house, to your apartment every 3 months to take your bloods to see how your levels have changed, and then they adjust your blend according to what the blood tests show. So definitely something I will look into. But I think, with the advancements of AI and technology in general, as with everything, these things get cheaper as we go through the years. And of course, they get better as well. So I think in 5-10 years, pretty much everybody is going to be taking their own personalized supplementation blend that will make up for any unique deficiencies that they have. But yeah, right now, it's just a little bit too rich for me. Anyway, guys, that's the video. I really hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, I'll put another one up here. YouTube will recommend this one to you. So if you did enjoy this one, you're probably going to go enjoy that one too. Anyway, I'll see you soon.